I left Don Lauder feeding on. What's good, everybody? Tune on in. What's good? As we do at this time, I ask that you hit the share button down below. Hit that share button right down there. Do we have a major live stream for you today? Tune on in. We're going to learn something now. It's time to learn something now. What you're going to learn is I've been right all this time. That is no BS. That's just not nothing I'm just saying just to make you like me. By now, over 400, 500 people order books. That's not nothing I'm saying just to make you like me. Just to make you tune in. I'm sad for the people that thought that's what that was about. Sadly mistaken. I am right about this Lauder stuff. I have the only facts. That's why I continue going live every time, because I have the only facts to lottery. I go live to show off those facts to lottery. Today I had to drink a Powerade because the store that's only open don't have any cold Coca-Colas. So I said, you know what? Just give me a Powerade. I can still make it do what it do. And the only reason why I love to have something to drink while I'm live streaming, because I talk a lot. And if you look at the transcript of how many words I'm saying a lot of words for an hour and 20 minutes. So in between time, I get choked up. Sometimes you hear me cough. Sometimes you hear me like clear my throat and take a drink, because I'm saying a lot of words very fast. And it goes there. So I have to have something to drink before I start. What's good, everybody? Good to see y'all. Make sure y'all hit that share button. This is the facts to lottery. And I've been saying for the last 4 years, be sure to look for a flaw or a lie. Now, what the by 2 by 3 is a construct. This construct does not stop whatsoever. It keeps everything balanced in symmetry. Give me 1 minute. Let me get comfortable. It keeps everything in balance in symmetry. So, yeah. What's good, everybody? Make sure y'all hit that share button down below. I'm going to hit the lights in a minute. So, yeah. As I was saying earlier, how's this light? Perfect. All right. As I was saying earlier, everything that we do here is because of a flawless system. Not because I want you to like me whatsoever. That's not why I go live. What you do is find the light. That's what you do. Maryland quads. Yeah, you said they haven't quad in 13 months. I've seen the post. Usually, if they don't quad in 13 months, wait for the triple to bring out the next quad. Your last triple should gauge when your next quad is. A quad, best trip trigger is a triple. A triple, best ever trip trigger would be a quad, because they bring one or the other. They're one and the same. So when it's in line to bring out a quad, that means it's automatically in line to bring out a triple. So if you got your triple, more than likely you're getting your quad right behind it. That's how it usually happens. So the quad usually happens within about 4 or 5 draws after the triple. The triple usually happens within 4 or 5 draws after the quad. If it's too big of a payout, you can be sure that they won't bring it out till about 33 draws later. So that's the normal routine usually. Depends on what state you're working with. Depends on what area you're working with. Depends on the timing. What month? What's the call? The income from the state that they took in so far. What income that they have to produce. What quarter they have to meet. All of these topics play a part in if you're going to get it super soon, right behind your triple, or within 33 draws. Now, let's say this. You got your quad in, let's say November. Here comes February, March. You get a triple. You're thinking that triple is the one that's going to bring out that quad right behind it within 5 draws or within 33 draw span. That's not how that works. Because for the simple fact you just had it like 3-4 months earlier. You only get 1 quad per year. Randomly, in some states you do get 2 quads per year. That's just a supernova, super rare. So what happens is you have the qualifications to get another quad, and instead of getting a quad, you get the triple. And that's what usually happens, when you have a quad already within a year span. So, again, it doesn't get back into quad threat till like month number 9 or 10. That's when you're back in severe quad threat. leading up into the 12th month. All right. We got Texas trip 5s, New Mexico trip 8s. After these triples here, I'm opening up a new bank account. Let's say it that way. If you're with me in 2023, open up a new bank account. Use this as your lottery bank account because we're going to fill it up in 2023. If you're with me, it's a lot that we're going to do in these private groups. I just went and got a lot of paperwork from Louisiana. A lot of my old paperwork from when I first started writing the books. What the private group is going to get is first-hand information from when I first started. So for me to be so super effective for a boot camp for book 1, a new boot camp for book 1, new boot camp for book 2. Well, book 1 won't get a new boot camp because there's a lot of members in there that have to elevate to book 2, book 3, and book 4. So what we're going to do is start book 2 with a boot camp, book 3 with a new boot camp, book 4 with a new boot camp. And this boot camp for book 4 will be the very basics. It won't be in like very dire constraints of what the book entails. It'll be very, very classic, basic of what we wrote down in the book so far. Like me putting a essence on it or my own, tweak to it. That'll be more for the one-on-ones. Okay? Because again, you gotta understand there's a lot of people that don't like me that order the books and really want to see me fail. So I don't really want to be feeding them with the best ever information if they're not on the phone with me, if they open up a new bank account for 2023, if they don't see us succeeding to another level besides just the books and you making some money from the books. You understand? It's like family, So when you're on that phone with me, it's like family. What's good, everybody? So let's get started here. We got trip 5s in Texas. Now, what I do here is show you my construction of having a 4-draw, 30-draw, and 33-draw. These draws better align with what's going on with your triple. Once they align with what goes on your triple, that means that we have a flawless system. When I come back and go live after the triple, it is to verify those with the books that in fact it is flawless. It is to verify those that's thinking about getting a book, in fact that it is flawless, because I can show you the flawless in the public system as well as the private group that gets the triggers that sees that it is absolutely flawless. So again, for the umpteenth time, for those that are new to me, I only go live after a situation to verify that the calculations that has set forth does in fact have that in the book before it happens. So if you were taking a final exam and then the teacher goes over your work and says, you know what, 100% A+, that's because whatever was in the book that you studied produced the exact results that got you an A+ on your final exam. That's all that's going on. So I'm coming back making sure that you were able to get an A+ by all of my metrics in my books adding up to whatever triple they get ready to fall. Whichever one they think they're going to fall, I want to make sure that it lines up with your book. So whoever's in New Mexico can capitalize. Whoever's in Texas can capitalize. Not just you particularly that has nothing to do with Texas, that has nothing to do with New Mexico. When your triple comes back around to your state, that's your time to shine. When your quad comes around to your state, that's your time to shine. But while we having the New Mexico or the Texas triples, that's just for them. They get it more frequently than anybody else, and you wonder why. But we already mentioned that this is how you do. You should go to Texas to start out when you're doing your homework. Again, like I told Mr. Andre and others, when you have your books, it's best to set aside a week or two to study. Within that week or two, don't use any bets. Don't go into the store. Don't go into online. Practice first. After you see the rhythm, then jump into it because you see the rhythm. After you see the calibration that your state is on, then you jump into it. Don't go halfway through the chapter and say, well, let me go ahead and try this real quick because I'm halfway through the book. No, you'll never get focused that way because it'll give you a new ambiance when you're going in to put money down on a number. And it's as if you totally forgot what you just learned or you totally not witty to what you still need to learn. Because let's say you mess around and get a hit and you hit for $250. You're going to try that again and just try that again before you go back and read the rest of the book and take it just as serious as the first half. So again, it's a difference. Trust me on this. Get the study in first, get it down packed, and then start to play when you already catch on to the wave. It's like jump rope, double dutch. You're only going to keep attention of one rope when you're getting ready to double jump, double dutch. No, you're not going to only keep up with half the book. You're going to wait till you get the rhythm of both jump ropes, and then you're going to say, okay, this is the best time to jump in because I know the rhythm. I know my state. This is the best time. They love that CVM. They love that bass number, and they love that series right after this bass number or CVM. So now I'm jumping in because I see the rhythm. That's all I'm trying to recommend here. Yeah, I'm not saying just go look at trip triggers and when you see one, jump on triples. You got to learn the rhythm of the triples in your state. Oh, they love to do it every 3.5 months. Oh, they love to do it every 60 draws. Oh, they love to do it every 95 draws. Then you understand what it's about the 90th draw. And I need to definitely see if we're in severe trip threat. Oh, we're in severe trip threat now because I see double sevens. I see the 711 or the 191 or the 911. I see the frequency 99. I see all the indications to let me know that we're in severe threat. Now I see the baddest base numbers show up. I see the one of the baddest trip triggers show up. Now I know we're in trip threat. Now I see all the triples showing up in the by 2 by 3. Now I know it's about to trip. Everything is a building block, and once all the blocks are built, it's time to go. That's what they're throwing it out there for in the first place. They built it up, so now it's time to release it. That's that simple. Let's go. So here's the game plan. Create your new bank account for 2023. Understand that it's just for your lottery wins. Whatever you put in there is just to invest in lottery. It's just to manifest more money in lottery. As you're doing this, you're going to hit a certain plateau to where you're going to get your credit cards and this, that, and the third. As you're building your credit and your credit cards, now you're going to take it up to another level. What can you do? You can invest into another loan. You can now play bigger, play smarter, and take it to the next level with the next book. So by the time February gets here, you're ready for your next book because in your account, you see what it has became. You see what has been profited because it's keeping up with your profit and loss for you. It's a bank account. Let's say January 3rd, you deposited $333. By January 29th, you see $629 in there. Well, damn, I know from my deposit of $333, now I'm sitting on $629. Now I'm getting ready to drop a book in February. I see my profit margin. So I'm going to take a little bit to the side and go a little bit heavier on these numbers. Exactly the way the book is explaining it. When I see what I need to see, jump on it. So by the time February gets here, it's time for your triple. And now that it's time for your triple, man, take that little profit between $333 and $629. Take your little profit and say, you know what, I'm going to go even heavier on the trip for the next 4 draws. Now you just hit for another $500 to $750 because you go a little bit heavier. Instead of just putting $5, you put down $15. So now it's $250, $250, $250. So now you got $750 on top of your $333 of your initial deposit between the excess of the $333 and the $629. So you got the remainder of the $333 and $629. Then you got the $750 to add to that, and now the book is free. That's how everybody does it, you know. But again, by that time you should be well advanced into the intermediate spot if you're just getting your book bundle for the 50-50 Christmas special. All 4 books, 200. It's like 2 or 3 left. Get yours now. It ends tomorrow. Prices going up tomorrow, so I'm going to change the prices tonight on my website. Prices going up tomorrow. Book 1, $222. Book 2, $333. Book 4, $444. Book 3, $444. Book 5, $555. Book 4, $555. I'm trying to get my numbers right because they're 1 above it. So 1 is 222. 2 is 333. So it's 1 above it. So that's where the hiccup is coming in at. But you'll see it on the website. So let's continue. With algorithms like this, it's taking candy from a baby at the end of the day. It really is. And they understand it. I didn't start with New Mexico because even though New Mexico, I believe, got theirs first, it would be too flawless and it would be too picture perfect. So let's go to Texas where it may look a little shaky, but again, it's not even shaky in Texas. So it's just going to make me legend. You're going to say, well, he did say the same exact thing. And if I remember correctly, I could watch 5 of his Texas videos only, and it's the same, basics to get it. And then if I watch those, Georgia videos, it's the same basics that it took Georgia to get theirs that it's taking Texas to get theirs. So if you finally sum it all up, because this is like a classroom, if you sum up all these teachings, he's saying the same exact thing every time he goes live. If every time he goes live, he's saying the same thing and it's adding up flawlessly for whatever trip he's going over, he is not lying when he said his books is absolutely flawless. We just got to get the understanding of what's what, this, that, and third, what's trips, what's 5 grids, what's frequency, why is frequency. It ain't just a number. Ratio, it ain't just a number. Trip trigger, it ain't just a number. It's definitions behind it. Like I just said the other day, it's like this. If the math teacher in high school is giving you a simple addition problem to solve, what's 125 plus 379? And you say, well, let me go pull out my pet numbers and play that and answer it with my pet number. Let me go pull out my social security number and answer it with my social security number. Let me pull out my tag number, answer that with my tag number. That's the same thing as you saying, well, let me just play pet numbers. That's how retarded and dumb that sounds. You have to be using equations or algorithms to solve that equation. So if I say what's 125 plus 379, you're going to say, well, let me add it up. You just did an algorithm. You did a mathematical algorithm. Here you're doing lottery algorithms. Everything. If you're playing lottery, you got to be using some sort of algorithm. You can't not just see a pick 3 number and say, I'm just going to pet number to this whatever number that comes out. That is asinine. Again, that's like putting a blindfold on purpose and saying I'm going to go find a needle in the haystack. That's literally what the definition of doing that is. Well, 329 came out. Oh, I'm just going to play my pet numbers. I'm finna play my social security. You're not putting no algorithm to it, so how the hell are you going to get past the test? If you really want to win on a constant basis, get out of that broke mentality. It is figured out. It's figured out to a T. You know it's figured out because you've been seeing me doing the same algorithm for 4 years. You know it's figured out because every time I come out, every year, shit gets more expensive. You know it's guaranteed figured out because it has not stopped with the way he explained it. All you got to do is do my research. Do your research. I asked every grown individual, find a lie. Meaning, research how I just explained that statement. Go back and see 30 videos ago. Am I explaining the same statement that made it come out this time? Yes, you're doing the same statement. So what is that telling you? That it is a code to it. You just got to know how to do the algorithms and what it means. So again, when I showed y'all that 196 based off of that 119, that's an algorithm. I told you that 119, it's the same thing as 555. But y'all wouldn't have known that in these other groups because they banned me when I went live and said that y'all need to stop playing lottery if y'all not using algorithms to find lottery numbers, to find the wins. That's like not using mathematics to do magic. If you're a magician and you have a deck of cards, why are you not using algorithms? Well, when you ask a magician and you really will ask and you really find out that it is an algorithm that they're using. Oh, trust me, I know this. It's going to be all up and through book 4 now, and you're going to find out, wow, he really wasn't bullshit. I mean, book 5. My newest book 5 is going to be all about that. So if these magicians use a deck of cards, and it is an algorithm within the deck of cards, this is how they finding your card when you pick your card. What is that telling you? They're solving for the unknown by only using algorithms. Once the proof come out, say, Phenom, how the hell did you know this before it happened? How the hell did you know that this is what it was before it came out? Because everything works off of algorithms. Point blank, period. It just does. Let's continue. Texas, trip 5. You got your pen and paper? Take notes. Start with the 4 draw, 30 draw, 33 draw. That 4 draw, 30 draw, 33 draw is just the basics of the basics. It's way more intelligent. It's way more masterminded behind this. It's just that I use the very basics to let you know that let me prove it before you order a book. Let me prove it. So, if you're going to order a book, tonight would be the best time because A, the price is going up tonight. So when you click on order through PayPal, it's only going to order whatever that price is set at tonight. So if I raise book 1 to 222, you have to pay 222. But I'm not going to change it to like 12 a.m. But still, in general, between now and 12 a.m., you better go ahead and click buy. Even if you got to get off the live stream, because it's going to, when it goes onto the website, that's it. It's not going to be reversed. So at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give y'all a heads up. Texas 555. This is truly, truly flawless, but I'm going to explain to you why it's so flawless. It's not just because it did a 555. It could have did a 529. It could have did a 541. It still constitutes as 555. What's the base number a twin of? The triple. What is the trigger the twin of? A triple. So if it's a 541 or a 529, it still means 555. Now do you get the understanding of how it's 2 and 3 levels deep? That was the second and third level of 555. So when I say I pray to God that they stop throwing trips so we can keep eating off of the regular trip indicators or the other systems to a triple, because that's all lottery is made up of. So if you're only getting 7 triples a year, 10 triples a year, it's 700 draws in a year. 700. Why are you only getting 10 out of 700? Would that make any logical sense to me or to you playing it? So I don't just teach triples. It's just the most jackpot number that I can say, you know what, let me alert your antennas to how we do triples, because that's all everybody ever wanted. Once we found out how to do it, ain't no sense of going over why we got 529 flawlessly. Ain't no sense of going why we got 541 flawlessly. There's no sense to it. So let's focus on why we got the jackpot flawlessly. Now you see why I go live. Let's continue. What up, everybody? Texas just got 4s. I don't know if you see my message, but Texas just got 4s too. Oh. Hold on. Good gracious, Texas is so nice to us. What was the last 4 draws in Texas before the 4s? Can you post the exact 4 before the 4s? Go 4 draws back, including the trip 4s, and post that in order so I can see really quick. And if I add the calculations to it, it's going to put these 5s right in neutral with it, right in algorithm with it. But we're going to go over the 5s, and then when I go over the 4s, watch how I include the 5s when I go over the 4s, so you can see exactly how it's still already in sync. Let's continue. Starting with 33 draws back, you get 993. All odd wave gives you an all odd trip. Not only that, it's the odds. So it's good for odds and evens. Evens is only good for evens. Odds is good for odds and evens. It's calibrated that way because of the 333 or 999. So 993, 33 draws back need to look just like it needs to look 33 draws going forward. So can we put it to the test and say, well, let me see if Phenom's right or wrong. We do the by 2 by 3, we get 999. Okay. All of a sudden, your flawless by 2 by 3 I hear so much about is saying 999. All of a sudden, right where 993 is. Who's pet number 993? Forget that. What do I need that to be the pet number for? If I put it in my by 2 by 3 and I see it's giving me 999, why not have 999 as my new pet number then over 993? I think I would like 999 better than 993. Yeah, okay, so if it's 999, 33 draws back, and it needs to look like that 33 draws going forward, you get 555. I tell you, 555 is 999 run mate, because run mate is 9 and 5. That looks like it's flawless already. In fact, it is, but not only that, my allergies is acting up. Not only that, do y'all get the concept of why run mates exist now? Because they can't keep giving you 999 over and over and over again. Because 999 is the frequency, it's the ether that's going havoc all the way through all these draws. Every pick 3 has a 999 involved one way, shape, form, or fashion. So by you getting 555, it was warranted, but it was warranted by the other factors on top of just the 999. So when I'm seeing 999, 33 draws back, I'm still going to play 999. I'm going to go heavy on 999, and then I'm going to go heavy on the run mate to 999, and then I'm going to go heavy on the mirror to 999, which is 444. Now it's starting to make sense why they're doing what they're doing. But guess what? Here's where it gets interesting why you got fours too. How many act ups did you get? And how did I tell you? When you get multiple trips, that equates to multiple act ups. Stop me when I'm lying. You can see that 5 videos ago, 3 videos ago. When you get multiple trips, any state that just got multiple trips within 33 draw. If I explained it, I explained that. Just go find the live stream I went over with multiple draws. It'll never fail. So that means that I'm pulling from a construct of my books, not from thin air. Because it happened for the last 4 years, just like that. Let's go. 32 draws back, you get 8184 base number instead of CVM. Okay, why not CVM? Because base number is a twin to a triple, just like CVM. So, what's the difference between one and the other? There's no difference. The only difference is the teacher that alerted you that what a 184 is. The only difference is the teacher that alerted you to what a CVM is. You're going to use both right where it needs to be. So what I'm saying is falling right where it needs to fall for you to grasp it, to capitalize off of it. It ain't something you just got to fish for. I don't think we know what 184 is, so I'm going to just throw that number away. No, you're using it as a calculation now because you know exactly what it is. That's flawless. It's at a flawless position. 31 draws 521. Most won't get this, but it is, in fact, blank, blank, blank. Only reason that is not because the 5 is leading. The 5 is technically trip 5, so where the 31st draw is a trip 5. Where else is it? 30 draws back, 529. Trip 5. Stop me when I'm wrong. The 5 is leading means trip 5. Base number, twin to a triple, trip 5. Technically trip 5s, trip 2s, and trip 9s. But the 5 is leading, so that's trip 5s. So, where the 30th draw is, it's flawless. Where the 31st draw is, it's flawless for other reasons. Not for the amateur's reason. I can't go over it amateurly. So, for multiple reasons. Okay? Once you understand this, you understand how everything is moving in a confined way. Meaning it's limited to what it's doing, so it's telling on itself. That's taking candy from a baby. Okay? 29 draws back, 057. I already told you something important about this 29th draw, didn't I? Well, now I got to prove it. Okay, I'll prove it. 057 is blank, blank, blank. 7 is Corky number, meaning any number under the sun, like the 3. It's just that 7 is the wild number, so it's not constituted as a whole number, but it is. So 057 is still 777. But the reason why 777 is just the holy grail, like 711 and 911, is the same forte. It's as if it's blank, blank, blank. So we're going to use 5 as the whole number because it's in the center. So that represents 555. But it's still blank, blank, blank. So if we use the 0, it's still 000 because it's blank, blank, blank. So technically it's nothing then. So since 057 technically means nothing, use the secondary. I bet the secondary means something. What's the secondary? Because obviously it has to be a secondary that means something if the primary means nothing. There's no such thing technically as the primary not meaning nothing and the secondary not meaning nothing because they both are different numbers that represent V. It's representing the same thing but different numbers. So you got 057 because I alerted you that 514 is a trip trigger. So if you do the secondary, you get 154 in the 29th draw. You know nothing about 057. You cannot prove that 057 means anything but what I'm telling you. But you can prove to yourself that 154 is a trip trigger. That A, I've been told you 154 is a trip trigger. B, I've been told you erase the primary, use the secondary when you don't understand it. So now if you erase 057 and only had 154 there, you'll know, well, damn, before trip 5's hit, I got 154. What is 154? 555. Trip trigger. Stop me when I'm wrong. Now, this for the people that just ordered. You can stop me if I'm wrong, but you already know 154 is a trip trigger, so I ain't lying. So can't nobody stop that. So I just be saying this shit just to be saying it. Let's continue. 28 draws back, you get the act up 605. Let me let you in on a little secret. That means that 605 is flawless. Count. That means that 057 is flawless. That means that 529 is flawless, 521 is flawless, 184 is flawless, 993 is flawless. 6 freaking draws in the most pivotal spot is flawless. Meaning there's no shake or no bullshit in between this stuff that's going on. What did I tell you? It has to give it to you now. In other words, I'm going to tell you how potent that is what I just explained. For 6 draws, it did triple, 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 triple. For 6 draws straight. And you don't understand the potency of that, 33 draws going forward. Let's just say 30 draws going forward. From the 30th draw forward, I'm finna start playing triples for the next 4 draws because it's going to fall into the 33rd round. So if they give it to you on the 32nd draw forward, you still hit. If they gave it to you on the 31st draw forward, you still hit. Don't wait for the 33rd draw to just start playing triples. Technically, you can go 29 draws going forward from whatever numbers you're keeping up with, keeping track with, and then start playing your triples for the next 5 draws, not 4. That's priceless information. 1 draw a day states, again, it's the same quarter, but you're looking at it from a total different perspective. This is when you need to know the forte of your state, because you're only getting 1 draw a day. That changes the dynamics, doesn't change the philosophy, just changes the dynamics. Understand? It changes your forte. It doesn't change the algorithm. Now, if that wasn't enough, you get double 7s on the 27th draw. 757, blank, 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 where the triple would be. So if you're spinning that slot machine for 6 draws straight, it paid you $25, $45, $39, $84, $23, $100, and then it went to blank, blank, blank. Mean nothing showed up on that spindle. You're like, well, where all the ditches at? Where all the figures at? Or where the letters? Or where the aces at? Where the 7s at? You don't see anything on that spindle. So the attendant will come up and say, it's resetting. Spin again. Here's another quarter. You can spin again. That's all that's going on. It's the same difference. It is literally the same exact thing when I say blank, blank, blank. That's where your triple would have been. If you really have any understanding of wisdom, when it does blank, 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 I don't care what's in that position. That means triple, whatever just happened. If you want to refill it with a jack, 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 that is a triple. If you want to refill it with 1, 1, 1, that is a triple. If you want to refill it with 1, 2, 3, that's a triple. If you want to refill it with 3, 3, 9, that's a triple. Once you understand that, now all of that from that spindle being blank, blank, blank is the ether behind all these pick 3 numbers. So every time it's spin, no matter what you get, you're still getting blank, blank, blank or 999 infrared. So once you understand that, you can become louder phenom. That's all. I'm telling you, that is the only basis of why I knew how to do everything else, because I knew it was saying the same exact thing no matter which measurement we used. So now if it's saying the same thing no matter which measurement we use, we got a for sure algorithm, a V theory. We have symmetry. One side is the same side in a different light. So when you say mirror, that sounds just about right. It's going to show you your reflection. When they say flip, that's about right. Flip the mirror. It's still going to show you your reflection. Oh, now I get it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's even infrared all over us, but we cannot see that infrared light. Oh, now I get why the next book is called Infrared, because I'm going to show you what you keep missing. You can't see it. That makes it truly, truly flawless. Let's fast forward because the rest of that stuff is flawless. It landed where it landed for a specific reason. 16 draws back, you get 506. For those with the books, read those paragraphs very, very, very strictly. It's something about what I'm talking about. So read that paragraph, read those paragraphs very strictly. Whether it's from book 2 to book 3, still read each one of those paragraphs very strictly. And the reason why I say that is, the father of learning is repetition. If you read the same sentence over from book 2 to book 3, you just learned it by repetition. Meaning, I don't even have to finish that sentence. I learned it so in detail from book 2, I know what the sentence is about to say. If the sentence is saying what V theory is, or what CVM is, or what trick trigger is, or what base number is, and you know it before it says it, and I'm telling you all those systems are the same exact thing to lottery, you know it before it happens. Because you know it before you had to finish reading it. You already knew what it was or what it was about. So, if you're rereading it twice on book 3, as you're writing it down for the third time, because you're writing it down from book 1, book 2, and book 3, that's 4 sets of repetition because now you're writing it. So you re-saying it as you write it. By the time you get done, you're going to say, Phenom, goddammit, I hate it, I doubted you. I see exactly what you're saying now. When I looked at it, I'm saying, man, what's going on, man? I just read that statement again. How can I force you to do repetitions? By making you say, well, if I'm going to level up, I need to take the next book very serious. Oh, the next book is forcing me to be repetitive or do it in repetitions. So it's like he's beating it into us whether we want to or not. We're going to redo it in repetitiously. So now before I even finish, I see the learning behind the madness. So I'm not at fault, or Phenom's not at fault. I just didn't understand it the way he needed me to understand it. This shit's chess, not checkers. So when I get criticized so much back in 2018, 2019, I'm trying to tell you something you didn't know already, that it will prevail. Trust me on this. I would want somebody to do me the same way if they're teaching me something. Do me the same way. Because I know the exact way to teach something and the exact way to not teach something by being in this position. 16 draws back, you get 506, act up. Second act up. That means that the next number probably needs to be a triple because that's a replication of a CVM as well. So, guess what the next draw was? 528. Trip 5s. At the 15th draw. Not by random. So, if you ordered your book, you're done thinking it's random. That's a fact. Let's continue. 7 draws later, you get 056. Act up. That means that's where the third triple needs to be. Technically second. Because the act up means the first triple needs to be there. Then the third act up means that's where the second triple needs to be. So when you get multiple triples, it's because of multiple act ups. So when I say stop following group leaders, you need to only go with the group leader that know what they're talking about. It's not for me to beat up anybody else. I'm literally knowing nobody else is telling y'all that. Because they can't. Let's continue. So, that means that if 0567 draws back needs to be the triple, and 5 is in the center, it means 555 by DNA. So, that means that what brought it before it had to be something super important. And it is. CVM, ain't it? It didn't land right there randomly. That means that what precedes it after needs to be something important, because that's what a triple just was. It's tripled, but it tripled in act up form. What's the next number? 045. CVM. So the CVM just sandwiched the triple, but they gave it to you in the 065 form. 056, excuse me. 7 draws back. So if the triple is supposed to be there and they did not give you that triple, what is that telling you? Now we need to see the signs that would make it inferno right now, because if our calculations is going correctly, it's about to triple very soon, because we just got an act up, and we just got the second act up of the act up that we're keeping up with back 28 draws back when we got 605. So now you get CVM 045. So now you get 030. Now do you see why book 4 has the same CVM horizontally? Now you see why book 1 said something about the center number means triple horizontally, meaning it is at its most potent form. So by me saying the CVM, when it does horizontally in 2018, is at its most potent form, me telling you in book 4 that this new algorithm that puts the triples in horizontal form, this is why it comes full circle. Now you see 030. Do you buy 2 by 3? Do you think now it landed right there randomly? No. 333 has not a trip 5 replica in it. 333 is the alpha and omega, means any triple. So what probably preceded it, that fell before it, has to resonate with the triple. What was it? 045. Trip 4s, trip 0s, or trip 5s. In effect, it does. So, right where the 056 is, the third act up means the triple needs to be there. You still get replications of trip 5s. And when I go over trip 4s, I'm going to show you where 045 is right there. And I'm going to tell you that's a replica of trip 4s, because the 4 is in the center. And now I wouldn't be lying. So when I tell you to find a lie, you're going to say, damn it, he been said that yesterday, so it can't be a lie. Now you see the flawlessness in this shit. It's flawless. Y'all going to learn one day. Let's go. So 030 being horizontally the 3s is the inferno. It's no other measure they could have did but maybe 171 or 919. That's the only other measures that they could have did technically would be 911. 919 would technically be 911. They're indirect act-ups. It's the same meaning. So that's the only other form that they could have did to bring out 333. It's the same nature. 333, 999, 171, and 191 and 919 is the same exact inferno. Those 4, they're the same exact inferno. Remember that. 777 is the nuclear, or it's the supernova. It's the same exact inferno, but it's not on that caliber because it is a supernova. So it's the rarest one. So if there was to drop 7s, it would be because of the rarest items that brought it. And this is why we rarely go over 7s. Y'all ever notice that? Let's continue. Then you get 200. Blank, blank, blank. Get trip 3s. Trip 3s needs to be another triple next draw. That means that 200 is just blank, blank, blank. So you were sliding that slot machine getting paid. You got paid from 030. You got paid for 045 CVM. You got paid for 056 CVM. You got paid for 499 CVM. You got paid for 796. You got paid for 327. It just did the same set again for 6 draws as it did for the 6 draws back and 33 draws back. 33 draws back to the 28th draw. The same exact statement. Why do you always have a cut book in between time? Because that's what the triple was. Let's continue. Then you get 106. That verifies that that should have been the triple right behind it. Because that's CVM, ain't it? But that CVM is trip trigger, so now it's Inferno on top of Inferno. Now do you see how devastating that 106 is? CVM, third drawback. And then 804. The same 804 that I verified live stream that it still means triple. The day before the triples in Texas. The 804, when I was saying how 842 is still 804, is still triple representation. There we go. And did you hear me? I said still representation of trip 8s, trip 0s, and trip 4s. So in fact, if I go over 804 for trip 4s, what do you think it's about to do for it? Become the inferno that brought out 4s. On top of the additives, like the 106 CVM, like the 555. Those are now the additives to the 4. So when I go live, it's going to be flawless. That's how easy it is to be flawless without trying to be cocky. This stuff is already rigged. It's rigged for that. It's in line for that. Why not have something that's already putting you in line with what's going on, and once you snap into it and find it, you're right in line with it. So it's no missing. When you do miss, you'll understand why you missed. How many people missing can't understand why they missed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is the final straw that broke the camel's back. How many people missing can't understand why they missed? And now look at your ass with the books. You can understand exactly now why you missed. Now what am I talking about doing next year? Trying to show you exactly why you're going to miss. These are the infrared numbers. This is the numbers that you're probably going to miss. Now you see why I said it has to be that next book. If I'm going to be the greatest teacher, I need to be the one that's creating and understanding why everybody's missing these numbers. Not just how to hit the numbers, why everybody's missing the numbers. So it's a category for that. With your big bad ass. That's the only way to do it. Point blank, period. So now, Texas 5, not Texas, but New Mexico's 888. New Mexico's having 888 makes it, in fact, flawless. Y'all gotta excuse me, it's a tow truck and all that sitting there with their lights on. I guess they see me live streaming and they want to interrupt it. But oh well, I can edit it, make it look real nice on my videos. New Mexico 888 is the reason why I say open up a new bank account. We're going to flood it in 2023. And if you did that in 2022, you're sitting pretty good. And if you did pay attention since all 2022, you were probably one of the ones that got the 4 books bundle for $200 and said, you know what, let me get that. Because this stuff is adding up and I do want to see what it's about. I just don't have the $500 he want for all 4. I don't have the $700 he want if I get all 4. So now let me go get the 4 book bundle for $200 because that is the most cheapest it will ever be. Now you see why people look out for you without even having to look out for you, and you don't even know they're looking out for you. Let's continue. New Mexico Trip 8s. That one is truly flawless. If I go over it, it's going to be flawless. If you don't want it to be flawless, probably want to turn off because I'm going to be flawless. Not trying to be. It really is going to pan out to be flawless. Whether we start with the first 4 draws and then go backwards to the 33rd draw, it is the same. Matter of fact, let's do it. It is the same notion. Well, you got trip 8s, it's the 33rd draw, and we're going to go backwards. So help me keep count because I'm going to say that 5th draw might be the 27th draw back, but it ain't the 27th draw back. So help me keep count. So right now, the current hit for the 888 is the 33rd draw. And we're going to go in reverse. 888, 33 draws. That means it fell flawlessly. How? What do you mean? Keep notes. Make sure you're taking notes. 32nd draw, 090, frequency, right? 32nd draw, you get the indirect act up. The reason why it's an indirect act up because technically 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27 draws back, you get 909. That is the indirect act up. It is the same number indirectly. So it's just as potent. Understand this much. It really is. Let's continue. 090 also again, it's already in book 4 laid out, so it's not nothing that can't be explained. It's just that for the sake of the public, I'm not going to explain that. Frequency 9. What's the sum? 9. Alright, keep it at that. That means flawless. We already got 9 locked down. Done deal. So the infrared 999, yeah. The 369, 999, yeah. You're going to... Let's go. Let's continue. So technically the 31st draw would be 707 on the 31st draw. We're just going backwards from the trip 8s instead of forwards from the 33 draw back 286. Probably the first time ever I did this completely. 31st draw back is 707. Trip zeros horizontally. What is the roommate's trip zeros? Like 999 in Texas was the roommate to trip 5s. Okay? So if 0 and 8 is roommates, and I've been said that, that means that's flawless. Let's continue. There's double 7s also, by the way. 30th drawback, 689. What do we do with 689? What's 689? It's very needed. The algorithms that it's needed for, it's too difficult to explain. If you, let's just take the shortcut. The central number is an 8, so it represents trip 8 by DNA structure, meaning that the book 4 calculation has it to be understood as only trip 8s. I showed you something I didn't want to tell you, but understand this much. There's algorithms behind that, the reason why I'm telling you this. So, in order to remember this and to use it effectively, you need to know the algorithm for it. So yes, book 4 says it is 689. Central number represents trip 8s. Trip 8s. That's all you're going to use for that, because you're doing the new algorithm for book 4. It's a new by 2 by 3 that you're doing. So when you did your by 2 by 3 for the book 4 with 689, you see trip 8s right there. 4 draws later, you get trip 8s. That means when you looked at the book, that made it flawless. So now everybody's ordering. Y'all get that? That if they already ordered, they got to hush. That means it is flawless. Now do you see why it's not 400? I don't like that book. That's a fake book. That's bullshit. Do you see that now? Do you get the logic behind why they can't say shit now? That's, period. That's why I keep trying to tell you. It's already matter. They're going to say, yeah, if you did do that algorithm in book 4 and did it the way he says that algorithm goes for that particular by 2 by 3, it only gives you trip 8s. Only. Ain't no other triple it can manifest into, because this is the only algorithm that's going to produce those trip 8s in that book 4. So, again, 689 is on fire, on top of another algorithm, on top of the algorithm I'm just explaining to you, the ones with book 4. Let's continue. So that would be technically the 30th drawback, represent trip 8s. Let's continue. 961 would be the 29th draw. Now, what did I just told you? What did I just tell you the 29th draw means? Why did I just have to show you 196 yesterday, day for yesterday? That it was a CVM trip trigger. So do you see why I can't just stay humble? Because it's like they're just going to keep making it to where it's like, how is everything you say showing up and showing out? That's why I say we're going to open up a new bank account and it's going to get flooded. I'm opening up one, a new one. Y'all open up one, we're going to flood it. Because these algorithms are so flawless that the whole world's going to say, you know what, we got to order that book. We got to. That man, he ain't missed. That Snoop Dogg quote, man, he just don't miss. Oh, they might as well have been talking about me. He just don't miss. Seriously. So again, if you know, you know. So that means that 196 is your new trip trigger that I gave you. On top of another new trip trigger that I gave you. If you're keeping up with the storyline from the last 2-3 live streams. Very important why you need to watch my live stream. If you need to find a lie, because as a grown-ass individual like me telling you I've conquered lottery, you need to be another grown-ass individual trying to dissect it and find out the bullshit, that if it's bullshit. Let me see. So if you're trying to find it and you can't find it thus far, what that tell you? Let's continue. 29th drawback is 961. If we continue, it's just going to get better and better and better, I'm telling you. Okay, so we're done with the 29th draw. Now let's go back to the last 4 draws. Technically the last 5 draws. From the triple 8s. We're going backwards. 29th draw is the 5th draw back, 629. 5th draw back, 629, base number. Wasn't it a base number that brought out the 555, in Texas? Wasn't it a base number that brought out the triple in Georgia the first of the year, the beginning of the year? Somewhere like that, yeah. So again, what is base numbers to twin to? A triple. 5 draws back, flawless on the 29th draw. 4 draws back, 147. Trip 4s. $145 in the secondary. This here is the reason why I just know the whole world's going to order this book, because it don't miss. So if you didn't want to believe that 147 is the twin to a triple, look at the secondary. How many times I got to convince you that the secondary is the primary? Okay. In fact, you get 145 in the secondary of your 147. In fact, you get trip 4 in the 147. In fact, you get V theory also in the 147. You get V theory, meaning go to one of those pages in the book 4. Look at where the V theory is. Is that not CVM? Oh, wait, 147 ain't CVM in the public. It ain't. But it's CVM. Reason why you got to get book 4. Get with the right teacher. So that means that the 4th drawback is flawless for trips. Let's continue. 3rd drawback, 521. Then we just go over why 521 in Texas was needed. Okay. If we just went over why 521 was needed in Texas and we breezed through it, let this be a reference point for you so you can be at ease that it is flawless, but flawless for major other reasons. But let this be a symmetry to you. Secondary is 529 base number. Texas 529 was the 30th draw. New Mexico 529 was the 31st draw. You don't think these states are in sync for trips? Once you review all these videos and you're going to see the syncness, you're going to say, well, damn it, all we had to do was keep up with how in sync it is so we know who's getting it next. So when I tell you stop betting and just wait and study so you can find the rhythm, not only to just your state, you got to find out where it fits that in line with all states, because it's going to do the same thing. And when your state is due, it's falling in line in sync with whatever just tripled before, whatever just tripled before that, whatever state just tripled before that. It's falling in sync. So when they drop it, you'll say, hey, they just dropped the exact number I need to see to bring out the triple. Because it's in sync with that state that just tripled. It's in sync with that state that just tripled. I can see the in syncness because I know the algorithms. Let's continue. So that means 3rd drawback is flawless. 2nd drawback, 559, which is another representation of 993. 559. All odd wave. It didn't give you all odd triple. But if you V-theory that, it gives you 598. Don't worry about that part. Because 598 is conducive to 8s. If you look back in 2019, 2020, that's why I'm telling you 598 is 4. But the V-theory now in book 4 only verifies it by law now that 598 is V-theory to trip 8s. Meaning it shows you the conclusion of why. 559 is trip 5 in your by 2 by 3. So that means a triple showed up right before the triple in the by 2 by 3. Not because of your pet number, not because of your street address, not because of your birthday. because of algorithms like the by 2 by 3, because of run mates that I had to create. Let's continue. 33 draws back, which is the current trip 8s, is trip 8s indirectly, in reverse, unwinded. So we unwinded it, and now we do 286 in the by 2 by 3, and it gave you trip 8s. So if I started with the 33 and said work our way forward, and the 33 draw should look just like the 33rd draw back, in fact it did. So what you just seen was the all eyes on me of lottery. The Nobel Peace Prize worthiness of this lottery stuff that we got called Lottery Phenom rotation books. The people that make the judgment for it is not viewing this, because we're not hitting that like button, share button, and telling the world. There's only one me. I need everybody that can hit the like button, share it to the world. You don't need other proof other than telling somebody, go follow Lottery Phenom. Trust me. Why I need to go follow? Just go follow him and see what happens. You too will be convinced that he does have lottery down pat. So all these other groups would be convinced to tell them to use only the by 2 by 3 because this just solidified it. You think they're going to do that? No. So you want to see some envy and some hate? Try it. Tell them all go use the by 2 by 3 from Lottery Phenom. It is, in fact, the only algorithm to use for lottery. It's the only one. And watch them 50 haters. Man, what are you talking about, man? Who follow that dude? What dude? Man, nobody want to follow that. And they tend to, God can come to you in your face and they'll tell you, man, that ain't God. No, I ain't finna follow him nowhere. I don't know what's in somebody that'll irk their nerves to where they gotta hate you that bad to where they're not gonna use logical sense first. And then say, well, I don't want to follow him because I don't like him. Only reason why, because I don't like him, not because his shit don't make sense. I can live with that. But again, you just have those fools. I can't help them. Those are the ones we can't help no matter what. So, that triple there is more fire to the flame on why we have to go up on prices. Because that right there is the mic drop. I did it backwards for you. And it panned out to be the exact mirror to me doing it forwards for you. Who still think Triple H fell right there by random? I just proved the flawlessness to it and you swear it's by random? Lottery can't even hide that no more. You can't say it's random. He just proved it. He just did this shit in reverse. And it still panned out to be Triple H. Instead of getting Triple H, they got 286. But somebody said, well, that's 286. Well, I just missed that. Now, understanding that it's a whole algorithm to what 286 is about to bring you. Now, do you see why you need to work with the right group leader? Because you don't even know what a draw is doing. Learn what the draw is doing, then determine how to play it next for the next 33. That's how to take the gamble out of lottery. You have to take the gamble out of lottery. I just showed you multiple reasons why you don't see 400 people saying, I hate the book, don't get the book. This is why they can't. Now, what you're going to do is see why the world's saying, I got to get that book. I just need the right sponsors. Hey, y'all go get the Lottery Phenom book. I see why you got to go get it now. Hey, this is Steve Harvey, man. Y'all go get that lottery book. Here is the number one in lottery. It does work. After that, next week you see a Bentley. Next week you see a Lamborghini. Next week you see a mansion. Within a week. Do I need the money? No. Do I need to raise the prices? No, I don't have to. But it's so good to where it has no choice but to prices to be raised. Technically, it would be free money. 689 came in GA. Facts, okay. I sent you my whole Facebook page. Thank you. Make sure y'all share it. Where's that post? North Carolina don't follow the rules. Follow none of that. We should bench it. No. They do follow that. They fear it. They do go in line with it. They fear it. The biggest... Put the material together. All of them. Jacob, North Carolina, South Carolina. The $2 million winner. North Carolina residents. I got the receipt. $270K winner. Played in Georgia. I got the receipt. All the biggest winners are North Carolina, South Carolina players. They're in dire straits of this stuff. They're in fear of it. So yes, they're going to hold back. But by holding back, they're still in algorithm. They're just holding it back. It happens. But it tends to only happen there. They're in fear of it. They're not holding back for no reason. They're in fear of it. Because it's going to be the same conclusion. Record number of profits. Record numbers of payouts. It's going to make the news story. This is where it evens out. So after you get that $9 million payout, $7 million payout, $5 million payout in North Carolina, it's going to make the news. Another 100,000 going to come and start ordering, pick 3 tickets, pick 4 tickets. So did they really take a loss? No. So it has to be something that just don't sit right with them. Once y'all figure out what don't sit right with them, then you see the holdup. And of course, it's too many people, too many payouts. Can't pay out 15,000 people for hitting triple. Can't pay out 20,000 people to hit triples. Now it's gaining and gaining, so we can't be paying out 40,000 people to hit triples. And it's not so much that, excuse me. It's that one ticket. It's that one ticket that says pay out 700,000 that they don't want to do. Pay out 300,000 that they don't want to do to one individual. Because they know that individual knows something. They know that individual has lump sums of money. All you gotta do is put 2 and 2 together. Who has lump sums of money? Those North Carolina, South Carolina family members of lottery phenom. Who has the ins and outs of how lottery works? Those family members of lottery phenom that stays in North Carolina, South Carolina. 90%, 80% of my members are North Carolina, South Carolina individuals. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Where's the most trips? Texas, California, Maryland. Places where lottery phenoms not heavy at. Because they're not up on lottery phenom yet. All you gotta do is look at the data. The slowest ones to want to get it. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Same thing with lottery phenom thrive. It's the slowest ones that want to get it. If it was far-fetched, I wouldn't even say it. Only things that add up is what's going to come out my mouth, point blank, period. It's just that simple. Again, this is one for the records. I really need y'all to get how powerful that was that we just did. We did that triple in reverse. And it still panned out to be trip 8 on an algorithm, I told you, since 2018. 2019. Oh, I told you.